Welcome to the Mundus Fractura Lore Guide. This week on Lore Guide, we will take a look at the little-known Well of the Wurm. A brief refresher for the new and unfamiliar, Mundus has a unique feature known as wells in the common tongue. The deep central crater and mountain-locked valleys beyond would be nothing more than huge fresh or saltwater seas if not for these strange geological features. Wells act as drains for the landlocked rivers of Mundus. Wells also serve as entry or exit points for the vast global network of subterranean caverns and caves known as Mundus Infra, or the world below. With that out of the way, let us continue. Deep in the western Midland, south of the Farback Mountains, in the dramatic hills and valleys of the twisting gnarled and ancient Never Woods, lay a near-forgotten landmark, obscured by the countless curled and crooked limbs of towering unyoung trees, the Well of the Wurm. There is a passage I found on one of the oldest stone tablets of the Great Dwarven Archive, which claims that, and I quote, "The black opening is large enough to eat the setting sun." Though this is a flowery exaggeration, the cenote is truly titanic, measuring nearly a half a kilometer across at its widest point. The well's hazardously undefined edge is a treacherous conglomerate of vegetation and rock, moss-covered roots, old and new, small and trunk-like follow ribbons of flowing water into the black. Rocky outcrops jut out onto the opening, like the teeth of a leviathanic snaggle-toothed horror. The opening cantilevered to the point where, should one safely make it to the edge, looking into its depths is like looking into the starless void beyond the stars. And from this vantage point, it can be heard, a high chittering, the chorus of the voices of an ancient kobold warren. But through the static-like echoing gride of the countless scurrying voices, there is a slow, rhythmic wave. First, a rumbling, hollow draw, a sound that resonates through the deep stone of Infras, like a distant landslide, a slow, deliberate pulling of the world, followed by a similar yet distinctive low and rumbling wind, carrying the weight of millennia, like the groan of ancient timbers under strain, or the whisper of thunder trapped in the belly of a storm. And between each, faint thrumming hisses linger, as though the well itself lets out an uneasy sigh. Occasionally, the rhythm will stutter with a hitch or a rasp, like embers crackling faintly in a dying fire. Deep, deep in the black below, in an unseen and said to be well-guarded chamber, Eskimish Finnan dreams deep in the slumber of an age. Eskimish Finnan, or just the Worm of the Well, has not been directly seen since late in the 7th era. Records from that time note a dragon of inconceivable proportions, a grey-scaled and near-shaggy-textured, great-winged reptile. The few antiquated records conflict on the nature and fine details. Some reported the beast to be a platinum dragon, old beyond knowing, in the depths of a horrid, rageful dementia. Others say the venerable worm is a black dragon, turned grey from the aeons. And there is even one report found in the catacombs of the Norderland College of Necromancy that claim the creature to be Dreki Odaudir, otherwise known as a Dracolich, or Lich Dragon. The few primitive drawings and depictions of Eskimish Finnan offer only to add to the same confusion as the literary sources. Some murals show the great worm blocking out Stjana. Others show it as a massive, winged, woolly, and toothed bird. I did manage to find a single, degraded magical holographic projection, which I believe to be the most accurate representation of the ancient worm. Though it did not relate the creature's true size, it depicted a twisted, sinewed draconic form, great tattered leathery wings, its hands and feet, slender with enlarged, possibly arthritic joints, its scaled, draconic hide covered in great, thick, battle-tested scales, like the iron-scaled plating of an orcish battleship. And to the credit of those sources who described it as hairy or furry, great ragged strands of what I can only presume to be either moss, mycelium, or maybe possibly old remnants of past skin molts, hung patchy and long from portions of its body. Its great head was long and hooked, with a mouth much longer and far more tooth-filled than any draconic species I am familiar with. The image's resolution wasn't clear enough to provide reliable details much beyond that. I can say that though the creature looked far, far older than any dragon I have yet seen, it still yet projected an awe-inspiring, powerful, and wholly terror-inducing visage, even through the wavering, degraded magical medium from which I viewed it. As I am finding with many things draconic in this world, there is little more I can reliably relate. I can speculate, however, based on the things I do know about the working of Mundus. The Kobold Warren, or Warrens in the Black Below, are likely there in service and worship to the great dreaming Eskimish Finnan. Based on the activity cycles of the other known elders of dragonkind, I would postulate that the Wurm of the Well is likely long overdue for a proper feed, pillage, and wing stretch. Would there be a party of adventurers brave or foolhardy enough? Now might be the time to slay the beast in its slumbering and depleted state before it wakes and raves the world anew. Though it should be warned that a dragon of this vintage would likely have impressive defenses, not the least of which being the countless thralled kobolds likely in its service. I'm actually somewhat impressed that attempts haven't been made on record to date, as its horde must most certainly be a thing of legend beyond measure. And as I have stated in the past, greed is a powerful motivator. But any more speculations aside, that is all for this time. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for future lore guides, and thank you for listening. Goodbye for now.